Hey y'all. Well, we've had one obstacle after another and I'm going to keep trying. Alright. The battery cut off. The cards have gotten full. We're going to keep going. And we know that when we are doing a Bible study from the beginning to the end of the Bible, this is not quick. The studies aren't going to be quick. These aren't little 5-minute or 15-minute devotions. These are deep studies. They take time for me to prepare and read and for you to listen and then read and have your time on your own with your Lord. And also, I hope that if I'm behind, you're keeping up and you're reading and I'm just catching you up with the story. So where are we now? We are in Genesis chapter 38. And right now we're talking about a very sensitive subject where Judah's daughter-in-law, Tamar, was living as a widow, and he still had one son left, but his name was Shelah. He wanted him to grow up, and he was so afraid that he would die just like his other two children, and Onan, because they're wicked. It makes you wonder, was Shelah wicked too? I mean, what's going on here? And you see the reasons, as we see in 38, why they were thought of that way. And then, well, it doesn't actually say for but it does say why Onan was wicked, because he tried to trick Tamar into not having children. So, anyway, so she realized that he had not told her about Shelah, and that he was grown and she could have been given to him, but that Judah had not done that. And so that's giving up her lineage. That's giving up her bloodline. She's not happy about it, so she tricks him, and she took off her widow clothes and put a veil over her face, which would signify that she was a prostitute. And so he's now a widower. And so when he saw her, he says, "Come now, let me sleep with you," in verse 16. And she said, "What will you give me?" He says, "I'll give you a young goat." And she says, "What will you give me to prove to me that you will bring me that young goat?" Because that, by the way, is not a small thing. It was a way to sustain her life. Because goats could provide milk, food, meat. They could, they were a way to survive. And so that was a big deal. It was a payment plan. And so she says, "What are you going to pledge me to prove you bring me that goat back?" And he says, "Well, I'll give you my seal and my cord and the staff in my hand." What were the seal and the cord? Well, seal and the cord was a stamp. Almost like when you do hot wax and a seal, signet ring, like a king or a signet ring does. That's like your ID, your driver's license. And then the staff in his hand was also intricately carved so that it was pretty distinguishable whose it is. And so he's basically saying, "I'm giving you my ID. And till I come back and bring you what I said I'd bring you." So he slept with her. She got pregnant, and then she took off her veil. Took off the veil and put back on her widow's clothes. And in the meantime, Judah goes and has his friend, the Adullamite, send the young goat up to the shrine prostitute. Now, we're not going to get into shrine prostitution. It's another whole subject. If you're interested, I would suggest you Google it. To be honest, that's not even one I'd red flag and look up. I'm comfortable knowing that it was a practice of the day, even though it was wrong. But it happened. So, so if you wanted a prostitute, you'd know where to find one, frankly. So when he sends his friend up there to take the goat, the friend says, she wasn't there. Prostitute wasn't there. And so when he asked around, they said, the people of that area, they said, "There's no shrine prostitute here. That we don't have one." And so he went back to Judah, and he told Judah, he says, the men who there said there is no shrine prostitute. And so he says, "Well, let her keep what she has, or we're going to be a laughing stock." So he's actually more worried about how he's going to be viewed than the fact that she has all his ID. "After all, I did send her this young goat, but you didn't find her." So about 3 months later, Judah was told, "Your daughter-in-law Tamar is guilty of prostitution, and as a result,